Good evening, when the phone rings, when the text lights the dark screen, when a scan result posts to a portal and your breath skips. That is the moment of our work, not 5 minutes later, not after you have told 3 friends and worked yourself into tremble. At first contact, you meet the intruder at the door, and you do not invite it in. You do not argue with it. You classify it. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us. 2 Chronicles 32-8. The arm of flesh is the name Scripture gives to nothingness parading as something bad news. Is not a power, it is the arm of flesh, and it is nothingness. Do you see? Before words, presence. Before explanation, breath. You will find that words are only auxiliaries. They help until they begin to interfere. So keep them few. If a voice on the line is trembling, the most you speak is, I will help you. Not doctrine, not a lecture on truth. I will help you. Then steady your own breath and be still. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46-10. This is our first spiritual move. Remove person, remove condition, remove law, and set the report in the wastebasket marked arm of flesh. Drop it. Do you follow that? Now, understand, this is not make-believe. This is not pretending there is no message. The message is there as belief, as rumor, as hypnotic suggestion, as the serpent speaking through the tree, but not a power. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Isaiah 41-10 is not a future promise. It is a present is. In the instant of contact, we refuse panic, the courtesy of a chair at our table, and we choose presence. We will learn the full reset as we go, impersonalize, realize, rest. But the first is immediate and can be memorized like a phone number, the ring, the label, arm of flesh, the stillness, the awareness. God is, you are not fixing anything at the door. You are not trying to change a medical report, a balance sheet, a headline. You are recognizing that no report has authority to define being. I and my Father are one, John 10:30, is the truth of you before the phone, during the phone, and after the phone. Presence is the answerer. At the door, let presence answer. If you find your heart racing, that is only the body registering suggestion. Gently refuse to personalize it. Breathe once more, I will help you. Then silence. I promise you this can be practiced until it becomes reflex. It is a reset you can memorize and replay on contact today, tonight, always. And by your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know it is real, because fear will dissolve as frost before the dawn, and harmony will take its place. Do you see? Thank you. The phrase arm of flesh is a Hebrew way of saying merely human reliance, appearance without substance, belief proposing a power apart from God. Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm. Jeremiah 17:5. Flesh here is not your skin. It is the conviction that there is a second power, a second law, a something that can injure or rescue you apart from the one. The arm of flesh is the phantom. It makes a sound. It prints a number. It paints a picture on the screen of mind, but it brings no substance of its own. Do you see? Error in our work is not a person, is not a condition, is not a law. Error is hypnotic suggestion, a universal mesmerism, the belief in 2 powers. The carnal mind, Paul called it enmity against God, Romans 8-7. Not a mind, really, a suggestion of mind. When you accept that, you have already pulled the plug on fear's machinery, because there is no thing left to fight. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. Therefore give not a thought to flesh and blood. The issue is not mother, not doctor, not employer, not virus. The issue is mesmerism. When you refuse to personalize it, you collapse its seeming authority at the gate. Think of the rope at dusk mistaken for a snake. You jump, the heart pounds, but when the porch light goes on, the snake is rope. The fear was real, the snake was not. Or the non-existent white poodle. How many times have I asked you not to search for it? It never was, but you can spend the afternoon chasing it. So it is with the arm of flesh. It is seeming, not being. Streetcar tracks meet at the horizon. Do you run to stop the crash, or do you recognize the optics and keep walking? This is our optic. The report converges into terror. In the mind's horizon, bring the light and it resolves. Guard yourself here. Do not make a person or a diagnosis the issue. Do not argue with a chart or rebuke a relative. This is not about correcting anyone's words. It is about seeing through the whole proposition. One infinite being, one law, one power. I and my Father are one. John 10:30 dissolves the premise of a second power. If oneness is, then twoness cannot be. If God is omnipresence, what presence remains for fear to occupy? If God is omnipotence, what power remains to threaten? Drop the second premise and you drop the fear. Use few words. This is only the arm of flesh. No person, no law, no substance. Then be still. Let isness announce itself. The phantom named, the phantom fades. You will know by your life experience, by the fruitage. Calm comes, decisions clarify, and the next right step appears unforced. Do you follow that? Thank you. Now, let us have the map. When intrusion arrives, you will not hunt through the toolbox for a complicated instrument. You will take up one key that turns 3 tumblers. The progression is simple, repeatable, and can be learned the way you learn to write your name. Impersonalize, realize, rest. If you will keep those 3 words ready, you will find your hand reaching for them before your heart reaches for panic. Resist not evil, Matthew 5:39. Do not contend. Do not debate. Drop it, then be still. Movement 1. Impersonalize on contact. Strip the story of person, condition, and chronology. That means remove the face, remove the label, remove the clock and calendar. This is only the arm of flesh, no person, no law, no substance. Do not make a sinner, a victim, or an oppressor. Do not make a disease or a debt. Do not make a yesterday's cause or a tomorrow's dread. Give not a thought to flesh and blood. When you refuse it, personality, legality, and materiality, you puncture its balloon at the gate. Resist not evil does not mean approval of evil. It means you will not dignify a suggestion with combat. You drop the second premise. You let it pass without hospitality. Do you see movement 2? Stand in isness. Having impersonalized, you neither try to fix nor to fashion. You stand. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Exodus 14:13. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Not will be, is. Harmony is. Life is. Love is. Law is. Omnipresence is. I am. You are not trying to make 2 times 2 become 4. You are recognizing it is 4. You are not trying to manufacture health, employment, safety, or guidance. You are acknowledging the presence of God as the presence of those very qualities. In this stillness, words become fewer, breath becomes even, and the sense of urgency dissolves because there is nothing to make and nothing to chase. Do you follow that? Movement 3. Behold isness, God appearing as you. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. John 14:9. Not a human becoming divine, but the divine showing forth as individual being. God, the invisible, appearing as Son, the visible. Here, identity supplies itself. Intelligence appears as your thought. Strength appears as your backbone. Supply appears as your sufficiency. Courage appears as your calm act. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. Here also, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Matthew 3:17. Let that benediction settle upon you until the strain breaks and the yoke is easy. Now compress the whole practice to a pocket-sized remembrance. Impersonalize, realize, rest. Imperatives kept few. Resist not evil. Drop it. Be still. If you will take this map into your day, you will find that the moment fear knocks, presence answers. You will know by your life experience, by the fruitage mind clears, feet know the next step, and events conform without pressure. This is your reset from panic to presence, from report to reality. Keep it ready, keep it simple, and rest. Thank you. Movement 1 is the hinge on which the whole door turns. On contact, before the mind runs its circuits, you declare inwardly, quietly, firmly, no person, no law, no substance, only suggestion. That is all. Not out loud, inwardly. The report arrives, the name is spoken, the test is cited, and you refuse hospitality to name and form fixation. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment, John 7:24. The appearance is always personal, timed, and codified. Righteous judgment removes person, removes time, removes code. Do you see? The habit of the world is to fasten the fear with pins, the title of the diagnosis, the authority of the specialist, the calendar of treatments, the probability charts. Pins everywhere. Pull them out. The minute you accept the person as the location of the problem, you have fueled it. The instant you accept a medical law as the governor, you have authorized it. The moment you accept matter as substance, you have given it a throne. Drop all three. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. Therefore, give not a thought to flesh and blood, no person. Give not a thought to statute or prognosis, no law. Give not a thought to cell, organ, or fluid, no substance. Only mesmerism proposing two powers. Only the arm of flesh. Keep speech minimal with others. Words are only auxiliaries. In crisis, they often interfere. If someone is weeping on the line, do not preach. Do not recite lessons. I will help you. Then silence. Your silence is not passivity. It is the refusal to dignify suggestion with conversation. Within, the declaration stands. No person, no law, no substance, only suggestion. Then you wait. Be not afraid of sudden fear. Proverbs 3:25. Sudden fear feeds on names, forms, and timelines. Deny it its diet. A vignette to make this plain. At 1:17 a.m., the phone rang, one of ours voiced, thin words tumbling. They say stage 4, markers off the chart, metastasis tonight. They want to move fast. I said, only I will help you. Then I took the person out of it, no man, no woman, no patient. I took the law out, no medical law binding, no timeline dictating. I took the substance out, no malignant matter, no self-existent tissue with will. Only the arm of flesh, the hypnotic suggestion of two powers. In about 30 seconds, the voice steadied. In 1 minute, the weeping ceased. In 3 minutes, the breath sounded even, and the body that had been shivering grew warm. Nothing had been argued. No condition had been corrected. The fuel was removed. Do you see that taking the person out removes the fuel? This is only the arm of flesh, you say within. No person, no law, no substance. Then be still. If you find yourself tempted to repeat the label, don't. If you feel the urge to consult the clock, don't. If you want to tell 3 friends, don't. Resist not evil. Drop it. Let the pins fall and the picture collapse of itself. You will know by your life experience. By the fruitage, panic loosens, clarity appears, and the next right step presents itself without strain. This is movement 1. Meet it on contact, and the gate swings open to presence. Having taken the person, the law, and the substance out of the report, we now refuse the old human habit of fixing. This is important. You are never trying to change a condition. You are recognizing what already is. You are not attempting to add God to a scene. You are beholding God where sense had reported a scene. There is a difference. 2 times 2 is 4. You do not make that so. You do not plead with arithmetic. You recognize what is. Do you see? In this movement, we stand not to strain, but to see. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord is not an order to do magic. It is a call to witness the already present law of being, doing what law does without your urging. Let the statements be few and living. Prime the pump, then quiet it. Harmony is, life is, love is, omnipresence is, law is, I am, or even briefer, God is, I am, peace is, I am that I am. Exodus 3:14. Before Abraham was, I am. John 8:58. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. Say these once, maybe twice, as a recognition, not as a chant. Then let the words fall away and yield your ear to what is. Words are only auxiliaries. They prepare the soil. They do not grow the crop. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. Rest the mind in that and listen. Avoid the argument with appearances. Do not rebut the chart. Do not cross-examine the symptom. The truth does not need your defense. It requires your consent. Let isness be felt rather than asserted. How will you know it is registering? The body tells on itself. There is a small exhale you did not plan. The shoulders drop a fraction. The jaw loosens. The space behind the eyes softens. Sometimes warmth rises in the hands, or the belly quiets. This is not an emotional jag. It is the cessation of resistance. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Let not your heart be troubled. John 14:27. The letting not is accomplished in the felt recognition that peace is not will be, not after the result now. Think of this like drawing a shade to let the morning in. You do not make sunrise. You open what was closed. So here, you open. You recognize what already is. If the mind races back to fixing, to planning, to rehearsing, smile inwardly and return to the simple recognitions. God is, I am, peace is, then silence. Wait a moment past your impatience. Stand in the isness until the breath tells you you have yielded. No pushing, no proving, just standing. If you will practice this 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 honest minute, you will notice that urgency loses its vocabulary, the inner weather clears. The next step, if any, appears without strain. You will know by your life experience, by the fruitage, that is, Ness stood itself up as your day, because what needed doing is done with an ease that has no human explanation. Do you follow that? Stand in isness and let what is be seen. Movement 3 is not another doing, it is the seeing of who is doing. Having stood in isness, we now witness asness. God, the invisible, appearing as the visible, individual God, appearing as you. Not God lending you something, not God helping you from afar, but God, the one life, announcing himself as your very being. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, John 14:9. Do you see? This is not presumption. It is the core revelation of sonship. Let the inner voice sound the benediction that ended Jesus' baptism and begins your practice. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, Matthew 3:17. Hear it within, not as flattery to a human self, but as truth about the I that is God's self appearing. In this recognition, strain ends. Why? Because there is no longer a private self trying to force an outcome. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Galatians 2:20. The moment you release the fiction of a separate operator, the action appears of itself as your thought, your word, your movement, without personal effort. Intelligence is, it appears as your clarity. Love is, it appears as your patience and tender firmness. Life is, it appears as your stamina and poise. Supply is, it appears as your sufficiency, your right contacts, your needed idea. Let supply be identity. The Lord as your being is your shepherd. Therefore I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Not because coins drop from the sky, but because the one who is abundance shows forth as your enough, on time, in form. Do you follow that? Keep the words few and living. Within, let this be heard. God is appearing as me, one life, one mind, one law, one love, being itself as this I. Then be still and let it register. You will notice a quiet shift in posture, no longer asking for, no longer trying to become, but consenting to be. This is a holy consent. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. If all that the Father has is thine, then the answer you were seeking is not outside coming in. It is the Father's own isness presenting as your next word, your next step, your very presence in the room. An instance. A man stood before a panel, numbers and titles arrayed against him. As it seemed, he had impersonalized the report. He had stood in isness. Now he let the inner benediction settle, this is my beloved Son. The attempt to persuade ceased. The sense of separateness dropped. He spoke little. Questions answered themselves. A path opened without debate. He walked out with nothing to explain, only the fruitage. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know when isness has taken hold. The answer appears as you, without push, without tremor. Understand this unity of our words. Is and as are not two practices, but one movement. Is names the fact of God's presence, as reveals its form as you. Is the light, as is the object illumined. Is the ocean, as is the wave, showing forth its nature. You do not improve the wave, you recognize its ocean being. In that recognition, you relax. You stop borrowing strength and begin being what is already true. Stay here a breath longer. Let the Father announce himself as your very I. I am. I hear. I is this. Then rise quietly. Whatever needs doing, do. Whatever needs saying, say without strain. You will find that presence has gone before you because it is going as you, and gratitude will be the natural climate of your day, not as a practice tacked on, but as the perfume of realized sonship. Thank you. Having recognized asness, we do a simple and difficult thing. We stop talking. Under pressure, that is the hardest discipline. After a few true statements, only a few be still. Prime the pump, then let the water run. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. 1 Samuel 3-9. Your major activity now is receptivity, not informing God, not reminding God, not persuading God. Let God declare the truth to you. Do you see? In this interval, The posture is Galatians 2:20, not as a phrase spun like a top, but as a yielded stance. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Yield the private operator. Lay down the little engineer who wants to pull levers in the mind. Sit inwardly with hands open. One or two recognitions are enough. God is, I am, peace is. Then hush. If a thought tries to continue the recital, answer it with consented silence. Words are only auxiliaries. Sometimes they interfere. The letter prepares the ground, the spirit sows, and brings up the crop. How will you know you have crossed from letter to spirit? There is often a small inner click, no fireworks, no trumpet, just the sense that something stopped pushing and something else began flowing. The breath lengthens without your doing. The forehead relaxes. The mind's edge grows round. After the fire, a still small voice. 1 Kings 19:12. The voice is not a sound. It is a knowing. It can be as faint as a feather resting on water, and yet it carries authority. My sheep hear my voice. John 10:27. You may sense a sentence form within unlooked for, unforced. Fear not, for I am with thee, Isaiah 41:10. Or, it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Matthew 10:20. Accept it. Let it finish its own sentence in you. Do you follow that? Under pressure, time seems loud. Do not watch the clock. 30 honest seconds of listening outweigh 30 minutes of self-talk. If the mind returns to fixing, do not scold it. Return gently to your 1 or 2 recognitions, then back to listening. The interval ends not with a mental victory lap, not with, there, I did it, but with a quiet assurance that needs no applause. Often a wordless amen appears, a settled yes. Sometimes you know it because the question you had is missing. Sometimes because the fear cannot find your address. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Then rise and move as moved. If there is a call to make it. If there is nothing to do, do nothing. We are not looking for a sensation. We are consenting to guidance. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will learn to trust this interval. Situations that demanded strain will yield to a step that offers itself. Keep the words few. Prime the pump. Listen. Let God be God in you. Thank you. One principle, many forms. The mask changes, the substance does not. The report says health. The notice says money. The voice says family. The banner says world, but the arm of flesh is still only suggestion. Never person, never law, never substance. So take the same key and turn it in each lock. Impersonalize, realize, rest. Do you see? Health first. The phone says markers, scans, emergency. Keep speech spare. I will help you. Then inwardly, take out person, law, substance. No patient, no medical law compelling, no matter with will, only mesmerism proposing 2 powers. Drop it, stand in isness, life is. I am the Lord that healeth thee, Exodus 15:26. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. John 1-4. You are not making life. You are consenting to the recognition of life already present. Then isness, God appearing as the individual. Let the inner benediction sound, this is my beloved Son. The answer may appear as you in a calm call, a wise consent, an unhurried no, a right practitioner, a night of deep rest. You will know by the fruitage breath evens, fear thins, the next step arrives without argument. Finance. A statement shocks, numbers glare. Refuse the idol. Numbers are not law. Numbers are report. Do not bow to them. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. Impersonalize the deficit. No person to blame. No economic law binding. No substance in figures. Only the arm of flesh. Stand in isness. Abundance is. Law is. Order is. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. Then isness, sufficiency, appearing as you an idea for consolidation, a timely client, a quiet sale, a dignified renegotiation. No push. Right action offers itself. By the fruitage you know the stomach unknots. Pressure leaves the temples. Steps become simple and exact. Family. Voices flare. Faces harden. Remove personalities. No offender. No victim. No history with authority. Only suggestion, baiting reaction. One is your Father, and all ye are brethren. Matthew 23:9, 8. Stand in isness. Peace is. Love is. Order is. Then asness. God appearing as you with a soft answer and right timing. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Proverbs 15:1. Sometimes the action is silence. Sometimes a sentence appears whole. Sometimes a boundary sets itself without edge. Look for fruitage. Temperature drops in the room. Timing opens. Reconciliation or wise separation unfolds without bitterness. World news. Do not globalize hypnotism. Do not lend your consciousness to a universal panic. Impersonalize the headline. No tyrant, no nation, no contagionous power, only belief in two powers shouting for airtime. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. Stand in omnipresence. Here, hold to one power without commentary online. Let asness be your presence in the world, steadiness at your desk, generosity in your neighborhood, accuracy in your speech, prayer without parade. You will know by fruitage, less scrolling, more helping, fewer words, more peace, a non-anxious presence that is noticed, though you never announce it. Across all forms, the sequence does not change because truth does not change. Less fear, clearer guidance, practical adjustment without strain. This is the signature. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will not be fooled by emotion or impressed by noise. The arm of flesh fades where presence is honored. Keep the key in your pocket. Use it at once. And rest. Thank you. How will you know the reset took? Not by the eloquence of your statements, not by the size of your feelings, but by harmony, by your life experience, by the fruitage. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:16. When the arm of flesh is named nothing and presence is honored, the signatures are plain. Fear dissolves often quickly. Guidance appears without debate. Doors open without push. Pain eases. Breath evens. And the next step presents itself with no heroics. Sometimes the scene itself alters. Sometimes only you alter, and the scene yields to that alteration. Either way, the proof is the same. Less strain, more order, practical rightness now. If results lag, do not whip yourself and do not argue with the clock. Return gently to movement one. You may still be holding a person, a law, or a substance in your hand. Set it down. No person, no law, no substance, only suggestion. You may also be holding yourself as a person doing a practice. Set that down too. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Zechariah 4:6. A small inward surrender accomplishes more than many sentences. Do you see? The correction is not effort. It is depersonalization, again and again if need be, until the inner weather clears. Beware the emotional jag. Tears, tingles, intensity. These can accompany realization. They can also imitate it. Do not be impressed. Measure by outcomes. If fear remains as loud as ever and nothing clarifies, you have had an emotion, not a realization. Return to the simplicity. God is, I am, peace is, then listen. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30-15. The fruitage test is merciful. It will not flatter you, and it will not leave you guessing. Let me give you a witness. Years ago, in a room far larger than comfort liked, a nervous current ran through the hall paper, rustling coughs, the felt panic of many needs. We did not lecture the fear. We impersonalized it, no persons distressed, no laws of crowd consciousness, no substance in atmosphere, only mesmerism. Then we stood in isness, and we listened. No word was offered for almost a minute. The change came like weather. Shoulders dropped across the room you could not count. A cough ended without successor. 2 or 3 began to weep quietly, but not from agitation, from release. After a woman reported that a pain of months had ceased in that minute, a businessman found, on stepping outside, a message opening the way that had been closed. Another who had dreaded the night slept deep and dreamless. We were not hunting phenomena. We were bearing witness to peace be still, Mark 4:39, as a felt presence that silences many at once. This is not to boast. It is to say, the Spirit declares itself in fruitage. Keep a quiet record. Not a parade, not stories told to dazzle friends. A simple, private ledger of outcomes that keep you sober and true. Date, need, the 3 movements you honored, the fruitage observed, fear dissolved here, guidance there, an opening, a relief. Why? Because growth and realization is cumulative and memory is selective. The record anchors humility, God did, and encourages perseverance when appearances shout. Prove me now herewith, Malachi 3:10. As you read back, patterns emerge, fewer words used, quicker resets, steadier days. If, at times, the page is blank, you know your work. Return to impersonalization. Stand in isness and listen until asness appears as you. When the reset has taken, gratitude arrives unannounced. Not forced, not performed. A low, steady thank you that needs no object. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me, Psalm 138:8. You find yourself walking easier, speaking less, helping more. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know, and you will be known not by claims, but by the quiet order your presence leaves behind. Do you follow that? Thank you. Now we train for reflex. Reflex is not haste. Reflex is readiness. Watch and pray, Matthew 26-41. Upon waking, before the world throws its colors and claims, consciously know isness and asness. 1 minute is enough if it is honest. God is, I am, peace is. Then the benediction of sonship. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, Matthew 3:17. Not as a person performing piety, but as the eye of you recognized as God's own appearing. At night, before sleep releases your guard, return to the same. This bookend keeps the day from wandering. Do you see, we are not adding something to make you spiritual. We are acknowledging what is so that asness may show forth as you without strain. Through the day, micro-rehearsals. Before a meal, a breath. Harmony is, gratitude is. Then eat. Before an email, a breath. Intelligence is, I do not draft alone. Then send or do not send as moved. At doorways, a breath at the threshold. I step from presence to presence. God goes before me as me. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. These little obediences shape a quickened capacity. The first knock of fear meets a practiced heart and finds no host. Identity sighting is part of this discipline. Look back of the eye and behold the Christ in every one, especially in the one you have called adversary. Give not a thought to their manner or history. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father, a paraphrase of John 14-9. Let this be your inner seeing, God appearing as individual being. The heat lowers where Christ is silently acknowledged. Try it at the counter, on the train, across the table. No sermon, no show. Just impersonal love recognizing itself. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will notice fewer frictions and wiser words arriving without rehearsal. Practice hygiene with your media. Do not bathe your consciousness in hypnotic waves for entertainment. If news is needed for duty, meet it as practice, not as spectacle. Impersonalize the headline. Stand in isness. Listen, then turn it off. Be sober. Be vigilant. 1 Peter 5:8. Vigilance here is not suspicion. It is guardianship of the Holy of Holies within. Protect your listening ear from noise and from the thrill of outrage. Words are only auxiliaries. Waves of suggestion are too. This is not a lazy person's work. Devotion, not drama, builds the reflex. Exercise thyself unto godliness. 1 Timothy 4-7. Keep the appointments you make with silence. Keep the micro-pauses. Keep the identity sighting. In time, sooner than you think, the knock comes, and without searching for your notes, presence answers. The phone rings at 1:17 a.m., and you do not rise to perform. You rise to witness. I will help you. Then within, the three movements occur as one consent, and the spirit stands by in consciousness. So we close as we began. Simple, spare, sure. Impersonalize. Realize. Rest. Train until it is reflex, and the arm of flesh falls away at your threshold because there is no hospitality for it. Pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5:17, does not mean many words, it means many yieldings. Thank you. Rest in the one.